Good morning. It's Wednesday, December 21st. I'm Steve Rand. This is Todd Graff, and this is the Gold Spot. Todd, 2022 has been one of the craziest years I can remember. I've been doing this for 20 years, and I can't recall seeing so many different things that have happened in one year that have had so much economic impact so far, but are going to probably bring much more of this stuff into the future. So, what are some of the things that you've seen specifically that have really, made things a lot more crazy this year?
Yeah, I mean, this year there's a there's a long list of things. Elections were in November. That's still a big deal, especially here in Arizona. There's court cases going on right now with that. There's, Ukraine and Russia. That's still a very major thing that's affecting a lot of things throughout Europe, the rest of the world, and that's going to have major economic implications as well. The FTX scandal, that's still brand new on everybody's mind. That's only been uncovered about a month ago. They're still unwinding a lot of that. More recently, what we're seeing too in South America, especially Brazil, people are rioting in the streets. Millions of people are protesting. There's tons of political unrest right now with that. And then very recently, Steve, I think like overnight, about 2 nights ago, the Japanese bond market had a major event where Japanese bonds are collapsing, their yields are skyrocketing. It's a major event that not very many people are talking about. So that's kind of a huge event to kind of close out 2022. And I know you've been seeing a lot of things too this year.
Oh yeah, in addition to that, you've got the borders right now that are just a total mess. So we've got so many undocumented people coming into the country, which is going to have huge impacts on our social services and all of our different programs and the amount of money that goes into that down the road, and the other problems that brings with crime and with drugs and things like that. You've got the banks, which have had a stranglehold on gold and silver for much of the year. That's something that we may see loosen up a little bit. Looks like things are kind of changing a bit, but for the most part, gold and silver prices haven't moved to this year like we would have expected, even though investment coins have moved quite a bit. And then inflation and interest rates. Inflation right now is at a 40-year high. They're playing with interest rates and they've been messing around, but it doesn't really impact things as much as you would think it would, especially here in Arizona where things are very difficult to get in many cases. And then of course you've got the cost of things, which is just absolutely skyrocketed. So now we go into 2023, which is a whole new year that we're only a week away from. What do you expect to see there?
I think the biggest thing we can expect is recession, and everybody's expecting that, all the economists. And with a recession, we're going to see higher interest rates, mass layoffs, corporate layoffs, I'm sure. And that's just going to accelerate everything. That's going to cause problems. And one of the big concerns too we're seeing with a lot of our clients, crime is skyrocketing across the country. Gun sales are increasing, and that a lot of people are looking for ways just to not only protect their money but also protect their property and their families. So unfortunately, I see that happening or increasing in 2023.
Yeah, and again, we have continuing problems. I know I already brought up inflation, but where are things going to go moving forward? We're already, like I said, at a 40-year high. But this thing isn't slowing down, and it doesn't look like the government and the Fed is able to do a lot right now to be able to slow that down. And as recession continues, like you said, or continues to fuel that, it's going to be more and more problems moving forward on that as well. But then the supply chain issues are going to continue. We're seeing it at the grocery store, like I said, right now. We're seeing it with medicine. I was in Dallas a few weeks ago, and I was trying to find just cold medicine, and it was impossible to find it. Other things that my wife has mentioned, like, you can't find things that are half as much they were before, like chlorine tablets for the pool or salt for the water softener. These things are staple things that people need that are just skyrocketing in price if you can even find them. And on top of that, in addition to that, we're also seeing the supply chain hitting gold and silver, which is something that, for years we never really worried about. It was never a problem getting product. I could send out orders and it would be no issue getting the product here. Now, again, I mentioned this in the past, but it's become a real problem again coming up to the end of the year. Certain things are just impossible to get. I have to call and verify that the products can be available before we can even lock in invoices. So silver and gold prices right now aren't necessarily, they moved a little bit over the course of the last month, but this is nothing compared to what we expect to see in 2023. So the point is, look at getting it now. Don't wait until the stuff is not available. As the old expression goes, don't wait to buy gold and wait. That applies to silver as well. We'll see you next week on the Gold Spot.